Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here, basically, we are discussing one topic, that is currencies. In currencies, basically, we are talking about one topic, that is um, ideas. In ideas, basically, we are talking about one global warming. In global warming, this is the one of the solution, basically, that is cities creation. Basically, one of the person told that basically one person is applying for the visa. Why basically he applies for the visa? One question basically one person asked. Then one of the experts basically told that whether he might be not getting the job. That is the first thing basically. Or basically it might possible that basically might not be getting the better opportunity. This also basically might be the possibility. Or basically he might be having some personal issue basically that his basically life might be in trouble. Basically somebody might be trying to kill him. Or basically some other family issue basically might be there. So like this basically people issues the visa, right? Sorry, applies for the visa basically. So the visa giving people basically knows that basically this person is giving visa, sorry, getting visa, sorry, going to get visa basically on the base of this purpose basically. So one of the person told that basically the visa group basically the who gives the visa basically, they know basically that for which purpose basically is applying the visa basically. Then one of the person told that mostly basically the people knows that basically the political people knows that basically the visa which he is basically applying and what is the actually reason basically for he is applying the visa basically. So one of the person told that basically one of the that World Bank person told that basically, you have Sunil not applied for the visa basically. Then Sunil R Nair told no basically for still basically I have not applied for any of the work permit basically. So then basically I basically applied, but basically uh, there basically money was too much basically. So basically my financial condition is not so good basically. So I was not able to get the visa basically. So that time basically still basically it's like that only basically. So one of the person told that yeah basically the people who do the fasting of Hanumanji, they basically always basically are in financial condition bad only basically or what. Like this basically they want that World Bank basically person told that basically let me do some survey here basically. If you are doing the 30 years fasting of Hanumanji, then basically your financial condition is that much basically too much low basically, then how basically other group basically might be. Then basically let me do the survey basically. So basically that basically person told that basically. Like this basically things are also basically there. So one of the person told that this basically all data basically are captured basically here basically, right? So in visa basically when you are applying for visa basically this all things are basically are also captured basically. One of the person told that um, assume that basically one of the person basically he is going to die basically in India basically. Then he told that the Indian people basically are giving him lots of trouble basically they have given for some certain reason basically. The God group, the temple group, the mosque group, the church group, all basically become one, and basically they started giving him trouble basically. So now the visa people basically told that yeah basically they he's basically giving got trouble from the Christian group like this each and every group. Our area basically also having the Christian group basically. So is this going to affect to our country basically? So this type of situation when it happens basically, then what that decision basically the visa group basically do? Assume that that person is going to die. Now basically what are the decisions that visa group is going to take? That basically is question basically asked in the forum basically. Asked in the forum basically. So one of the few businessmen basically told that if he has not got the visa, that means if he is not getting the visa, sorry, he is not getting the job, he is getting lots of trouble in India. Indian group and Christian group and Muslim group, all Hindus group basically are giving him trouble. That means basically the across the world also basically the Hindus are there, Muslims are there, and the Christians basically are there. They also basically connected with if they also basically connects with Indian group basically, then mostly basically he will not get the visa basically. He will not get the visa. So one of the person told that Bollywood group are basically they are basically creating the entire India one, and basically they are telling that entire world also become one basically, because Hollywood groups are basically there. They are friends of Bollywood. Like this situation, basically, what is going to happen? Then one of the person, basically the business person, he told that basically mostly that person will die basically. Mostly that person basically will die. And one of the political person told that basically mostly he should get the visa basically, because political people always help the people basically. Then few people, lots of people basically given lots of suggestions basically. So in this situation basically, what the person basically is going to get the visa basically, or is not going to get the visa, that basically is question actually. That actually is the question basically. That basically question basically nobody basically, mostly basically nobody have basically. And one of the person told that nowadays the war is also started basically, so in this situation basically he will get the visa basically, because everywhere basically it's a war situation. European war, American war is ongoing, Muslim countries war ongoing, but India is only pending basically. So few people says that basically India basically when they will jump into the war basically, that also basically is suspense basically. So in this situation basically is going to get visa or is not going to get. If he is not going to get visa, then basically he will die. Then basically the law basically will come into the picture, that why you have not helped that particular person basically. Why basically you have not given visa to him, because he is getting trouble from entire Indian nationality. Then why you have not given the visa basically? And then basically they told that basically why the Indian group basically has given him trouble basically. Then they basically started checking each and every childhood, because it's a foreign country basically. So they basically check each and everything basically from childhood basically. So first they basically tracked his childhood story, whether the story basically started from childhood or basically or not, because he is getting trouble from childhood or not basically. So that thing basically gets starts. Then basically they checks basically which government basically that time basically, and they basically are giving still trouble. If they are basically giving from childhood trouble, then basically which government is that. So each and every things basically comes into the picture. So this basically converts into one case study basically, that basically this is person basically who is actually applying for the visa, and the reason basically written is he basically will die in India basically. Reason is Indian nationality is giving him lots of trouble basically. So in this situation basically visa company is going to file one case basically, that this person is basically there in the international court basically. Then international court will take the decision basically. And international court basically will, if they will say that basically let him die basically, then international court will be in trouble basically in future basically. If basically international group says that basically help him basically, then basically the Indian nationality will say that basically you have basically given him visa, so we Indian people basically will become enemy of you basically. So in this situation what the international court are also going to do basically. But if he dies basically, then international court only will be responsible for this. So in this situation basically, if he is not getting job in India, if he is getting some lots of trouble, then what international court will do? And if basically is not getting in job in India, that means basically the Indian courts also basically has fired him. Supreme Courts has fired, High Courts has fired, because he is not getting job in India basically. That means this groups has by default fired. So in this situation what the international court is going to do basically, this is also basically one of the topic basically in each and every city basically, and that also basically generates the energy basically. So like this basically also the situation basically gets creates. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about the city creation basically, and this is actually one question basically, that answer basically I also don't have basically, what are the things going to happen basically. And this basically it's a small topic basically, but it converts to lot of things basically, it converts to lots of things. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about the city creations.